it is finally time for another Walking Dead Universe Q&A video. And if you guys want to know how you can get your questions to me for the next Q&A video, drop a comment down below. And no, you're not limited to just one or two questions. You can ask as many questions as you want, and I will answer every single one to the best of my ability. So thank you guys so much for the love and the support on the channel lately. It means the world to me. Thank you guys so much. And let's get right into it, man. So the first question I have is, are there any known immune characters in the Walking Dead universe? And to my knowledge, no. And I'm actually kind of happy about this, to be honest, because I just don't really enjoy the whole immune storyline. You know, I feel like it's been played out a lot. And honestly, I mean, I wouldn't be completely against it, but I don't really know. Like, maybe what if Rick was immune or something, right? I don't know. Maybe it could be cool, but as of right now, no. The next question we have is, was Rick Grimes a hero, a villain, or somewhere in between? So I think Rick is a hero for sure. There's actually quite a bit of debate going on with this whole thing, with the whole Rick Grimes being a villain, or there has been debate going on in the past. But I would say that Rick is a hero. You know, he's a good man and he tried his hardest. And obviously, in that world, you have to make tough decisions and you have to do very brutal things. So, I mean, I'm sure he's probably made some decisions that people disagreed with. But overall, I would consider Rick Grimes a hero. I think he's a great man with a great heart that just wants his people to survive. You know, I think that's really what sums up Rick Grimes as a character. I think he wants his family and his people that are with him to survive, and he has to man up and stand up and do very tough, difficult things. Next question: who had the best redemption arc, Negan, Merle, or someone else? I mean, it has to be Negan, right? I mean, it has to be Negan. His redemption arc has been wonderful to see, especially right when it was kind of starting back in season 9 of the Walking Dead original series. I mean, dude, that was awesome, right? When he saved Judith and stuff like that. And then in season 10, when he killed Alpha, I mean, it was really, really awesome to see that. And even in season 11 as well, Negan really made the last 3 seasons really awesome. And honestly, I think Negan kind of saved The Walking Dead in a way, because imagine those last 3 seasons without him. I think they would have been really rough. So, yeah, I would definitely say Negan. Merle's redemption arc was really interesting, but it was really only for one episode. But it was really impactful and powerful, absolutely. Next question. I've gotten this one a million times, but I'm going to answer it again. What do you think happened to Heath? So, I believe Heath got traded by Jadis to the CRM. That's what I believe happened. I don't know. Some people disagree. There's some people who think he was a whisperer or something. I don't know. I think he got traded to the CRM. Maybe he's still alive. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll play a role in like Rick's next story or something, right? What if Heath is somehow involved with the CRM or one of the CRM military groups out there? You know, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I don't know. I think he got traded by Jadis to the CRM. Next we have, was Carl's death necessary for the story? So this is an interesting one because, in my opinion, I don't really think his death was necessary for the story. But I don't really mind it either, to be honest. A lot of people hated Carl's death, but in my opinion, it really brought that brutal reality back to the show where we kind of felt like certain characters were safe, and everyone thought Carl was safe. Nobody thought Carl was going to die, right? But the brutal reality of the Walking Dead world is that you can just get bit sometimes. That's a realistic situation that happens. You're out in the woods, you see somebody, you're trying to help them, and next thing you know, you're bit, right? That can happen to anybody. And the fact that that happened to Carl, especially because he was a younger kid, he wasn't the most experienced out there. Obviously, he had experience growing up in that bad environment, but Carl was still young when he died, right? So it's not like Daryl or Rick or some grown up, right? Maybe they wouldn't have even put themselves in that position really to get bit right there. But obviously, Carl, being younger and inexperienced, was trying to help Sadiq, got bit, and it just is what it is, man. I don't really think it was necessary for the story, but at the same time, I didn't hate it. But to answer your question, no, it wasn't necessary for the story. Next question we have is, do you think Daryl and Carol ever had romantic tension, or was it purely platonic? So, I don't really think they ever had romantic. I think Carol liked Daryl romantically, but Daryl kind of always shut that down. If you guys remember in season 3, I think it was season 3, episode 1, when Carol asked him, you want to screw around, and he was like, stop, and then he said, "I'll go down first," and he was talking about, getting off the bus that he was sitting on or whatever, and she was like, "That's even better," and it was just like, it was funny stuff. But I think Carol kind of always had a crush on Daryl, but then as the series went on, we really saw them become good friends, right? Daryl and Carol, in my opinion, are strictly platonic. I think at first Carol had a crush on Daryl, but then Daryl kind of shut that down and kind of just redirected the whole trajectory of their friendship, right? And it really was like, hey, let's just be friends here, right? So, yeah, I think they're just purely platonic. They started off, obviously, Carol had a crush on him, but now it's really just a friendship. Um, do you think Maggie will ever truly forgive Negan or just learn to tolerate him? I think she'll. I don't know. I don't think she can really forgive him, to be honest. I don't think Maggie can truly wholeheartedly forgive Negan, even if she says she did. I don't think that she can. So I think she'll just learn to tolerate him more. Because what Negan did, we can't forget what he did, right? Like, Negan's a cool character and all, but we can't forget what he did and what he took from her. Um, Next question here is, what is the most shocking death in the series? Oh, man, that is actually a really great question because there's a billion shocking deaths in this. I would say shock value-wise, Glenn. I think Glenn's was really crazy because of what happened before him and who died before him, right? We didn't really think that. Once we saw that first person die, we didn't think the other person was going to die. You know what I mean? And then, bam, he's dead too. So I would probably say Glenn, to be honest. Beth was pretty shocking too, though. Beth was pretty shocking with the whole gunshot through the head thing. That was interesting. You guys remember all the fans trying to say that Beth was still alive and stuff? That was hilarious. Um, Here we go. What is the most underrated moment in The Walking Dead? But to answer your question about the shock and death, I'd say Glenn. What was the most underrated moment in The Walking Dead's history? Underrated moment? What do you mean, just a moment that happened that maybe people forget about? I would say, man, that's a good question. Underrated moment. I think Daryl letting Dwight live. I think Daryl letting Dwight live was actually really powerful. I really do. I think it was really awesome. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Um, because you could tell Dwight was like truly sorry. He was like, I screwed up and I deserve to die. And then Daryl's like, go find your wife. If I ever see your face around here again, I'll kill you. And he throws him the keys and says, go find her. I thought that was awesome. That was a great moment for me at that point in time. I really actually kind of like Dwight, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I'd say that's an underrated moment. Was Glenn's fake out death a smart move or a cheap trick? I mean, I don't know. I don't hate it. It worked for me. I mean, it was annoying. It was annoying for sure, but I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't mind it that much. I didn't think it was this big horrible thing. But I don't know. I would say it was. I would say it was more of a cheap trick than a smart move, but I mean, it worked. You know what I mean? A lot of people still don't like it. I don't really hate it that much. I don't really think it mattered that much in the end. I mean, it is what it is. It was part of the story. Obviously, it just is what it is. Who should have been the one to kill Alpha? I mean, I think they had it perfect with Negan, I think Lydia killing Alpha would have been really interesting. Lydia kind of realizing that her mom is just completely screwed up and she has to kill her. I think that would have been interesting. But the way they did it was really awesome. Negan killing Alpha in that scene when she opened up the door and kind of turned around like, what's going on? And just swoom, just throat gone. I think that was awesome. That was really sick. That was really intense. So the way they did it was perfect to me. I wouldn't change it. Um, uh, could the CRM be behind the outbreak? No, I don't think so. I don't think they're behind the outbreak. I mean, if you see that military force, like, I mean, they said, or Okafor said that he bombed Atlanta, right? Um, so, I mean, maybe. That's actually not a bad question. That's actually not a bad question. Maybe they are. What if they are, right? I don't know. I can't really answer that, but maybe. I don't think so, though. But you never know, man. Great question, though. Holy smokes. Next question we have is, which spinoff has been the best so far? Dead City, Daryl Dixon, or The Ones Who Live? I mean, The Ones Who Live for me. I think Daryl Dixon's next and Dead City is last. The Ones Who Live, in my opinion, was a really good spinoff. A lot of people hated the ending, but I think personally for me, the entire point of The Ones Who Live was to reintroduce Rick Grimes back into the Walking Dead universe, reunite him with Michonne, and then reunite him with his kids, and bring him back home so that there's these endless possibilities with what they can do next, right? And I think that's what they did. I think they did it very well. I think The Ones Who Live is a fantastic spinoff, but yeah. To answer your question, I think The Ones Who Live is the best, then Daryl Dixon, and then Dead City. Dead City just never really did it for me. I never really liked it that much. Next question we have is, Should Judith get her own spin-off show one day? Probably. She probably should. It's probably going to happen. Um, Probably not soon, but maybe like 10 years from now, maybe 10 years. When Rick and everyone is really, truly done in The Walking Dead, I'm sure Judith will still be around and we'll get like a Judith spinoff or something. I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens. But next we have which characters must reunite before the franchise ends? Well, Daryl and Rick, off the top of my head, for sure have to reunite. Other than that, I mean, I don't really care that much. I just want Daryl and Rick back together. Next question we have is, what kind of crossover would you want to see between Fear the Walking Dead and the main series? Well, this has been talked about for so long, man. It's been talked about for so long. And I actually think now would be a pretty cool time to have a Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead crossover show or something. Just because I think a lot of the characters would be really awesome to see together. You know, I think it would be really cool to see Dwight and Sherry back and see Morgan, again with Rick and have Rick meet Madison, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. It would be interesting, right? It would be cool. So, I mean, I don't know. I would like to see it. At this point, I don't really care that much. I just want to see everyone back together and have a cool big show, big reunion, awesome potential. You know what I mean? I would love to see that. So, I think having a Fear the Walking Dead and main series crossover show, it's a pretty darn good idea right now, I think. Next, we have a few questions left. If you could save one character from dying, who would it be? So if I could go back in time and save a character, it would be Glenn, for sure. Glenn's death was very shocking and very sad, and I think Glenn was the heart and soul of The Walking Dead to me. So I would say Glenn. Which villain was more terrifying? The Governor, Negan, or Alpha? Um, Terrifying. Well, like, what do we mean by terrifying? Are we talking physical intimidation? Psychological intimidation? Are we talking, just how scary they are? Who's more of a psychopath? Stuff like that. I mean, if we're going just all together, who would be the worst villain to face? It would have to be Alpha, right? Because of the way she used the Walker hordes and stuff, and just the fact that she had Beta too with her, who was just a tank of a freaking person, right? I mean, that guy's like 6'10", like 280 pounds, probably 250 at least. I mean, it's a big dude. He's a big guy. And how they used the walkers and walked with the walkers and stuff. And I would say probably Alpha. She would be the worst one to fight, I think, because she can literally surround your entire community with like thousands and thousands and thousands of walkers, and you're just screwed essentially. Especially if you don't have a ton of ammo or like a decent, situation. Imagine if Alexandria didn't have those walls, right? And I mean, she sent those waves of hordes. I mean, hey, it's over. You're done for, pretty much. So I'd say Alpha. If you were in the Walking Dead universe, which group would you join? So like current groups or just like all-time groups? We'll just say current groups. Where we have the Commonwealth, Alexandria. Maybe we could even say the CRM. I know it's not necessarily still up and running, but like maybe the current evolution of the CRM with Rick Grimes and stuff. Personally, I mean, I just like Alexandria. I'm currently in the middle of watching The Walking Dead with my girlfriend, and we are at season 6 right now. Season 6, episode 4. And I just love seeing Alexandria, right? It's still really new. They just got there still, and they're still kind of settling in and everything. I think Alexandria, for me, I would love to join and be a part of Alexandria. We have 2 questions left. Would you survive in the zombie apocalypse? Be honest. Absolutely, dude. I watched The Walking Dead 25 million times. I know how to survive. I'm a survivor, man. I got a crossbow just like Daryl. I got tons of stuff, I would survive, I think. I know a lot of cool people that have some pretty cool setups and cool properties and stuff like that. If I needed to get somewhere to survive, I know where to go and how to get there, and I know some survival tips and stuff like that. So I think I would last a pretty decent while. And last question for the video. If you could recast one role, who would it be and why? Wow, that's a really good question. Um, hmm. Ellie from The Last of Us. I'm just kidding. If I could recast one character, um, I just think the casting's good. I just do. I think every character. Um, Glenn was great. Negan's great. Rick is great. Daryl's great. Michonne's great. Carol's great. All the castings are really great. Oh man. honestly, maybe unpopular opinion, I would recast Carl if I had to pick one from like the main group. From the main group of people, I would recast Carl. I don't know. I'm standing by it. It is what it is. Everyone has an opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, guys. This was a really fun video. It's a long one, about 15 minutes, so I'm going to shut her down right now. A lot of questions. I think we answered 26 questions. So remember, guys, if you want to have your questions answered in the next Q&A video, drop a comment down below. There's no limits on questions. I will answer every single one. So thank you guys so much for the love and the support. Please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow so much more than you know. Thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe out there in the crazy world, man. I love you guys. Goodbye.